Welcome back everyone to Sedan Strike 4, and this time we're going to be tackling the German campaign. As always, this is a stream, so if you're watching from YouTube after the fact, go ahead and check out the description or the comments. There will be a timestamp for when the action starts, and I'll see you then. Привет. All good, I'd say. Like, yeah. Damn, name in the chat doesn't show. Hey, ciao. I'm guessing you're Italian because Alessandro Lolli. Credo che sei italiano. Quindi... Okay. Nazis. Yes, Nazis. Okay, so we've got Blaskowitz. Johannes Albert Blaskowitz was a general who was awarded Knight's Cross, the Iron Cross, with oak leaves and swords. Okay. This is infantry doctrine. Hand grenades, riding, infantry drills. Really now, 20% increase in aim. Sounds pretty good. And then you get the hatch lookout at the start. Yeah, this sounds very, very good. Guderian has always survived critical hits and hatches. Repair kits. Okay, beta. Yes, okay. So you have the army mechanics, so I'm picking you. Fyodor von Bock. Army telemeter artillery units are more accuracy. Pretty useful. Towing hooks and smoke grenades. Smoke grenades are pretty useful. Let's get the tank lookout. Wait, I don't have stars. Sukabliet. I don't have any. That's sad.
Cross the bridge over the River Mars before the French blow it up.
The River Mars? The River Meuse. What the fuck?
Eliminate enemy bunkers and other defenses.
Yes. Okay, so I guess we have to rush in and take it out. Now, in the real battle, they did blow up the bridges, so fine. Guess it's gonna make it easier for us. Yes, Battle of Sedan, May 1940.
Cross the bridge over the River Mars before the French blow
The
it
River
up.
Mars. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I guess we just take everybody and try to see. I mean, I don't see any point in waiting around. Oh, here they come. Here come the Frenchies. They have Hotchkiss H-39s, etc. So we have 1 Panzerfree, 2 Panzerfree, 3 Panzerfree, 4 Panzerfree, and a Stückfree B. Okay, so we have 3 P-Frees, 4 P-Frees, 1 Stug, and a bunch of normal dudes, plus a repair vehicle. Pretty normal stuff. There's a gun. Get the gun. I know how it goes. I know how it goes. Oh, looks like there's some Frenchies. French riflemen. Oh, shit. Get yourself some healing. My god, the Mars. The Mars is going to kill me. What? Why are you not moving? Oh. Well, there they are. Not sure why the troops were not moving, but I guess that's fine. Yep, go kill that Hotchkiss. Get yourself. Shit. Okay. This should be pretty. Ooh. Hotchkiss is mine. Damn it. They killed my medic, so I have to medic the medic. Come on, medic. Heal up. Heal up, you smarty. Okay. I get that other guy. Really now? I'm pretty sure this was scheduled to happen.
Watch out though. The river banks are heavily fortified by French bunkers. Koordinaten, Kommandant? Pay special attention to the defense of the repair vehicles. Without those units, we won't be able to build a pontoon bridge.
I know. Okay. So Hotchkiss needs 3 people. Now, pontoon either above or low. Okay. Did I just get a bunch of reinforcements? Yes, I did. Good. So let's get up there. And protector repair units, 2 out of 2 still functional. Really, 2 out of 2. Oh hey, Vasya. How's it going? Wait, what? Oh shit. Man, Nazi units so good. Both of my medics died. It's annoying as fuck. See, that hasn't changed very much over the 2 campaigns. I do have some extra medics out here. Okay. So pontoon bridge going up, and what the fuck are these Frenchies all about? Looks like there's some more Frenchies coming in. I told you to build a pontoon bridge, you smart cookie. Okay. Let's get the Hotchkiss up. And the gun. Heal him up. Okay. Praise Deutschland. Okay, so still have these Panzerfrees. Not much happened to them. What? Why did that select all the Panzer-4s? Or Panzer-Frees? Not sure. Weird. Let's send the Hotchkiss up first because he's the most worth. Jesus fuck. Guess they're getting more reinforcements. Let's get our tanks defending the rear, because they're gonna come in with their spam most likely. Okay, that wasn't so hard to deal with. Good. Fuck.
Destroy the artillery bunker ahead.
Destroy the artillery bunker. Religious holiday?
Ja, Kommandant.
Really now?
Jawohl. Ja, Kommandant. Sie werden uns nicht kommen sehen. Ist jemand verletzt?
What kind of religious holiday?
Artillery units have arrived. Use them wisely.
Oh, artillery units.
Bewegung, Soldaten. Jawohl. Bereit zum Angriff.
Okay,
Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
let's get across.
Befehle, Kommandant. Zu Befehl.
Now, most likely these funny people will have units. Yeah, okay, there's definitely going to be something up here.
Infanterie einsatzbereit. Bewegung, Befehle? Befehle, Kommandant. Kanonen einsatzbereit. Einsatzbereit. Ziel in Sicht. Bereit für die Schlacht.
Okay.
Kanone wird versetzt.
Oh, artillery bunker.
Feuert aus allen Rohren.
Can they destroy the pontoon bridge? Doesn't look like it.
Befehle? Jawohl.
Oh,
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
they have little bunkers too.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. In Bewegung, Kommandant. Befehle, Kommandant. Zu Befehl.
Well, that's interesting.
Koordinaten, Kommandant.
Didn't know.
Feuer! Angriff!
Kill the little bunkers first.
Bereit für die Schlacht. Koordinaten, Kommandant.
Yes, good job.
Feuer!
Now, little gun's gonna deal with all the small bunkers.
Jawohl.
Big gun gonna deal with the big bunkers.
Kanonen einsatzbereit.
Got another Stug. Very good. Shit. Fuck my life.
Einsatzbereit.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen.
Kanone in Bewegung.
Yeah.
Füllen nach. Ja, Kommandant.
Can you repair the pontoon bridge?
Na los!
Yeah, go ahead and repair that. Because that was not what I envisioned. Good.
Now crush the enemy's main bunker.
Artillery bunkers down.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig.
Well, rip Stug.
Einsatzbereit.
That is entirely what I was afraid of earlier. When I said, well, I wonder if they can destroy the pontoon.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
Turns out they can.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Ja, Kommandant.
Okay, at least my glorious Hotchkiss vehicle
Bewegung.
managed to do its job.
Ja, Kommandant. Jawohl.
Okay, now everybody's
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
ready to cross.
Verstanden. Einsatzbereit,
What the?
Kommandant. Kanone in Bewegung. Einsatzbereit.
How did that happen? The Stug just resurfaced.
Jawohl.
Come on, can you pass through? Yes, you can. Good.
Bereit zum Angriff.
I even got a half truck.
Kommandant. Jawohl.
And that's a...
Hat jemand den Doktor gerufen? Bestätigt. Infanterie in Bewegung.
Okay, let's get ourselves some line of sight of what is happening.
Jawohl. Der Feind.
Well, I wasn't sure if the pontoon could be destroyed. Now I know that it can be destroyed.
Warte Befehle. Befehle? Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst. In Bewegung, Kommandant.
Oh, shit.
Sani. Koordinaten, Kommandant. Infanterie einsatzbereit. Erwarte Befehle.
Try to get up there and save that retarded person.
Bewegung.
The edge of the map, where I get reinforcements from.
Den Doktor gerufen? Befehle? Bereit für die Schlacht. Infanterie
You know, where could they come from? Like,
Infanterie einsatzbereit.
didn't you think about that,
Bewegung
Mr. Smart Guy?
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Koordinaten, Kommandant. Befehle? Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Bereit zum Angriff. Ja, Kommandant.
Okay, I like my spam of Panzer Freeze. It's definitely helpful.
Ja, Kommandant. Bereit zum Angriff. Bestätigt.
Okay, they do have people up there, but
Bereit zum Angriff. Jawohl.
not really able to do much.
Zu Befehl. Erwarte Befehle. Angriff! Infanterie
Angriff!
meldet sich zum Dienst. Bestätigt. Sanitäter einsatzbereit. Infanterie einsatzbereit.
Okay, now.
Funktionstüchtig. Infanterie einsatzbereit.
Doesn't really seem like Transfiguration of Jesus.
Sani! Bestätigt.
That sounds very scary.
Infanterie einsatzbereit. Bewegung. Infanterie in Bewegung.
Daddy, how are tanks made?
Feuer! Bereit zum Angriff. Angriff! Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Jawohl.
We'll see.
Befehle? Kanonen einsatzbereit. Sanitäter! Fahrzeug.
Fuck my life.
Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Okay, now.
Bewegung einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Bereit für die Schlacht. Infanterie einsatzbereit. Jawohl, einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Let's get everybody up there. You move up.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Hat jemand
See if I can save this guy.
da, wo man mich... Jawohl. Bewegung, der Feind.
Der
Fahrzeug
Feind.
funktionstüchtig. Beeilung. Infanterie einsatzbereit. Artillerie einsatzbereit. Befehle, Kommandant? Bewegung. Erwarte Befehle. Infanterie in Bewegung. Jawohl. Infanterie meldet sich.
Yes, I know how to send people into buildings. What the? Well, looks like that Hotchkiss randomly hit my Stug's engine. Not my Stug, my Panzerfreeze engine.
Ja, Kommandant, der Feind.
Okay, I gotta get somebody to repair that.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Na los.
Oh, there's a supply depot.
Ja, Kommandant.
Pretty fun.
Feuert aus allen.
Kill all the French infantry around.
Ja, Kommandant. Wir sind
You go ahead and kill that. Ooh, that's not a manned Hotchkiss. Good. Free Hotchkiss. Very nice. Let's see, what else is in here? Not much.
bereit zum Angriff. Na los.
Where's my gun? I used to have a gun somewhere.
Erwarte Befehle. Befehle?
You go ahead and resupply those guys. You're derping around. Not really doing anything useful. A thick chassis.
Befehle?
Looks like they did man the Hotchkiss in the end. Oh no, that's the one that I destroyed earlier.
Befehle, Kommandant.
Okay.
Kommt der Nachschub. Befehle? Ja, Kommandant. Befehle? Bereit zum Angriff.
Okay.
Bereit, Kommandant.
I just gotta get you and this person. Oh, come on.
Infanterie in Bewegung. In Bewegung, Kommandant. Jawohl.
Yes, you
Ist jemand verletzt?
you are a medic, so you go down there.
Na los.
You get into the Hotchkiss,
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
as do you.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Jawohl. Ja, Kommandant. Hier kommt der Nachschub.
Ja, Commandant.
Jawohl.
Let's get the Stugs up here, doing their own thing.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Bewegung soll einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Okay.
Die Schlacht. Infanterie in Bewegung. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig.
Fucking France. Oh shit.
Jawohl.
Well, that's incredibly annoying.
Zum Dienst.
Looks like there's a big ass artillery piece somewhere in the rear. Maybe like over here. I don't know. Oh damn, it's one of the artillery bunkers.
Jawohl. Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Bereit für die Schlacht. Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Bin da, wo man mich braucht. Auf dem Weg. Auf dem Weg. Wie lauten die Koordinaten? Kanone wird versetzt. Befehle, Kommandant? Ja, Kommandant. Sanitäter einsatzbereit.
Wir laden die Koordinaten.
Ziel in Sicht.
Okay, so we've got everything over here set up quite nicely. Let's move up.
Jawohl. Hier kommt der Nachschub. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Okay, now whatever. Oh, damn it. Not fun.
Bewegung, Kommandant. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig.
Looks like they've got more people up there.
Infanterie einsatzbereit.
And here comes the Hotchkiss.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
Shit.
Jawohl. Bin da, wo man mich braucht. Artillerie einsatzbereit. Befehle, Kommandant.
Good. Hotchkiss is dead.
Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Kanone wird versetzt. Ja, Kommandant. Sanitäter. Bereit für die Schlacht. Infanterie in Bewegung.
Easy peasy. You finish off that guy.
Bereit zum Angriff.
Still got a P3 over here that I can use.
Zu Befehl. Bin schwer
Okay, where's my medic?
Befehle. Erwarte Befehle. Bin da, wo man mich braucht.
Good.
Jawohl. Befehle, Kommandant. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig.
Now all of you can move up like this
Befehle.
and do that.
Zu Befehl. Zu Befehl. Erwarte Befehle.
But you stop because you're a supply truck.
Infanterie in Bewegung. Wie lauten die Koordinaten? Der Feind. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Erwarte Befehle. Jawohl.
Okay, looks like it's an annoying bunker. Well, gotta bring up some infantry from the rear. Because we're running out. Well, there's HMG positions, like little bunker emplacements. I don't think there's actually, like, infantry carried HMGs, though. Which is what you were asking, I think. Okay. Well, yes, I know how it works. Don't worry. Okay. Now I've got my spam of Nazi tanks, and I can head down and kill this guy. Shouldn't be too hard. Since you still have plenty of ammo, come down. Looks like the French have surrendered over here. Haha, the French have surrendered. Oh, shit. Looks like they have a vehicle over here of some kind that's artillerying the fuck out of my people. And it's not really going well for us. Oh, AT gun? Well, don't care about the AT gun. I care about whatever was artillerying me, which doesn't look to exist. I guess it was the 105mm Schneider M1927. Okay, now killed that thing. Don't have any medics left, but oh well, doesn't really matter. No, I don't think the game has mobile HMGs. The pathetic French will not recover easily from what they've lost. Okay, didn't even look at how many stars I got, because it's like, whatever.
May 15th, 1940. Fall Gelb. The term resonates through the ranks of my men like some god-given destiny.
Why is he
The
British?
plan to push through the Ardennes and take the French forces by surprise seems to have been a great success, and has inspired every Wehrmacht soldier to do his best against the Erbfeind.
Erbfeind.
Our attack on Sedan was a
Sedan. Jesus
Of
Christ.
course, the Luftwaffe was a tremendous help in this operation, but the bulk of the work was, as always, carried out by our troops on the ground, especially by Hermann Balk and his men of the 1st Rifle Regiment. I'll never forget how he charged ahead and crossed the Mars in rubber boats under fire to establish that beachhead.
Yeah, see.
Crossing the Mars
Oh,
was
fuck.
child's play. I think every single one of my men made the right decisions, and we scored a decisive victory. I've heard
Shut the fuck up, Makarov. You're a piece of shit.
through the Netherlands. While he is doing a great job, I don't know if his artillery-focused tactics were the right choice for the Sedan operation. Anyway, we won. And each day we're pushing the French and their British friends back a bit further. It seems it will only be weeks before this war is over. We just need to close the trap to the channel and France will be ours. I have orders to proceed to Arras to secure our flanks.
See, okay. Little stupid talk moment. This guy, I'm pretty sure the Hermann Balk person is a real person, and he, like, fucking crossed the river on a rubber boat, and then he was, like, alone with, like, 4 other German guys, and they started, like, destroying all the bunkers and letting everybody else cross the river because they couldn't. And yeah, in the real lives, they used rubber boats to cross instead of a pontoon bridge because they didn't have time to build one. Then when they got to the other side, they built a pontoon bridge. And, well, I really fucking hate the voice acting for the, like, little diaries where it's like, the Russian guy had an American accent, and this guy supposed to be German, has a British accent for some reason. And oh my god, it's Rommel! Fucking Battle of Arras. Hold on, let me change the title. because we're changing the mission, so I gotta change the title. LOL. Okay. Well, yeah, I still want my support doctrine. Still the best. Let's get those skills. Okay. The gas station. Well, yes, the gas station. The gas station. That's so very military talk. Because he only wouldn't say fuel resupply point or something. A gas station. But yes, of course, gas stations. Also, gas stations in the middle of nowhere in France in 1940. Haha, so realistic. Okay, so Battle of France. The Battle of Arras. The Battle of Allah. Blitzkrieg tactics.
Ja, Herr Kommandant. But unfortunately our panzers are running out of fuel.
Ja, Herr Kommandant.
I see. According to our maps, there is a gas station nearby. Head there and refuel the tanks immediately.
Und refuel the tanks immediately. Sure. These Nazi officers doing their Nazi things. What the? Okay, so get the cube wagon. But my French surrenders. Can I cross the river in any other place? I think I can cross it down here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to cross the river down here. And ooh, a Citroën Cagresse P17. A French vehicle. Wow, they do have lots of these Citroën Cagresse P17s. What do you mean, that YouTube stream title? What was I supposed to call the stream? What? Oh, you mean yesterday? I think you have to realize that How to Be Bad was meant for me, you know, not for you. I mean, of course it was meant for you too, but like, it was only derogatory when it came to me. Wow, you managed to miss. How are all these tanks missing, like, all the time? Like, what?
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Sanitäter einsatzbereit. Ja, Kommandant. Jawohl.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Yeah, just leave these people behind.
Bewegung.
Befehle, Kommandant? Beeilung. Bewegung.
Gonna use the tank crews as scouts.
In Bewegung. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Okay, got everybody healed up. Move in the P2s first. I noticed that I don't have a repair vehicle. Oh no, I do have a repair vehicle. And yeah, I'm running out of fuel, I know. Wait, what? The French don't have anybody on the gun. Well, now they do. Kill them. Oh boy. What was that 180? There we are. That is what I was looking for, and looks like my P4 is going to die because there's a bunch of Frenchy tanks down here. Still got some more tanks in reserve, I think. No, actually we don't.
Jawohl. Bin da, wo man hat jemand den Doktor gerufen?
Jesus Christ.
Befehle, Kommandant. Sanitäter und
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Na los!
Looks like we have some mortar people. What the hell?
Infanterie in Bewegung. Infanterie einsatzbereit.
Oh my god.
Bereit zum Angriff. Fahrzeug
I'm getting screwed.
bestätigt. Befehle.
Get out!
Bereit zum Angriff. Beeilung. Jawohl. Na los.
Jesus Christ.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Feuer zu Befehl.
Okay.
Beeilung feindlicher Einheiten. Auf dem Weg.
Bin schwer verletzt.
Fuck him up!
Erwarte Befehle. Na los! Ja, Kommandant. Bewegung, Soldaten.
Sie ist zerstört. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Befehle. Beeilung.
Fucking read a book, you bad
Jawohl.
Nazi, Makarov.
Ja, Kommandant.
The French fought fine.
Good. Now resume your advance to the north across the railway. Bestätigt.
Okay, now
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
let's get everybody resupplied, etc. All those
Fahrzeug
things.
funktionstüchtig. Transporter einsatzbereit.
Jawohl.
Ja,
Look at that Nazi petrol pump. Holy shit.
Erwarte Befehle.
Infanterie
Okay,
meldet
in the
sich
meantime,
zum
I'm just gonna be scouting around,
Na los!
seeing what every French person is doing around here.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Befehle? Hier kommt der Nachschub. In Bewegung kommt. Wir reparieren und füllen nach.
Now, this engagement was pretty bad because
Befehle.
we got wrecked. And we got wrecked. We got a lot of our tanks pretty much destroyed.
Befehle. Jawohl.
Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Bereit für die Schlacht. Bereit für die Schlacht. Bestätigt.
Bereit für die
Befehle,
Schlacht.
Kommandant.
Zu Befehl. Befehle, Kommandant. Zu Befehl. Befehle,
Okay,
Kommandant.
you're done. Repair him.
Zu Befehl. Befehle, Kommandant. Verstanden. Bewegung.
Ja. Auf dem Weg.
What's gonna be over here, I wonders?
In Bewegung. Ja.
Okay, they don't have anybody in the tower, so get in the tower.
Zu Befehl. Befehle? Hier kommt der Nachschub. Befehle, Kommandant.
Okay, yeah, you don't have any fuel, so that means that you're gonna get fuel.
Sanitäter einsatzbereit.
He's still not in the tower.
Bereit zum Angriff. Ja, Kommandant. Wir sind einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Na los! Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Oh, this guy doesn't have any fuel as well. Go resupply him. Can you resupply him? No, you cannot. Transfer supply to him, so that he can resupply him.
Auf dem Weg.
Easy.
Befehle, Kommandant.
Damn.
Befehle.
Can't see anything from the watchtower, so I'm gonna have to go in.
Feind gesichtet.
Oh no, it's a Matilda!
Jawohl. Verstanden.
What?
Bewegung.
What are you doing? Okay, good.
Verstanden. Verstanden.
You know,
Befehle.
mortars are pretty damn overpowered in this game.
Befehle.
Bereit zum Angriff.
Infanterie einsatzbereit. Befehle, Kommandant.
Mortars are pretty damn overpowered in this game. So maybe I can use the mortars
Na los!
and my AT rifle people,
Befehle.
which I do own, to kill the Matilda without even having to fight the
Erwarte
guy.
Befehle. Infanterie in Bewegung.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Jawohl.
I am so genius.
Befehle, Kommandant.
Verstanden. Befehle. Panzerbrecher in Bewegung.
Ja, Kommandant. Befehle, Kommandant. Bereit zum Angriff. Zu Befehl.
What?
Hier kommt der Nachschub. Beeilung.
Okay. Transfer supply.
Transporter einsatzbereit.
Infanterie einsatzbereit. Na los!
Jawohl.
Transfer supplies.
Transporter einsatzbereit. Bereit zum Angriff. Auf dem Weg.
Okay, so now I have my huge swarm of Naziness ready to go. Look at this Nazi-ass swarm. This guy cannot move because he's got destroyed tracks, which is why I'm thinking that this solution is the best. Because I can just sit back and shell at him, and they can't really do anything about it.
Befehle?
Yeah.
Verstanden.
Der Nationalsozialismus.
Bandagen sind einsatzbereit.
See if there's anything to be stolen here. There still might be something useful around, that the Frenchies might have left behind. It looks like I lost like a P2, a P4, and 2 Panzer IIIs. So definitely not... actually no, only 1 Panzer III. Still not optimal. Not optimal at all.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
You know, I could give ammo to this guy as well.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
Sure. There isn't really anything that the Frenchies left. No, I haven't touched MP or skirmish yet. Because fuck those modes. Nobody likes them. Is there anything in the field? I wonder. So this is the anti-tank little... I don't know. Probably the Allies. Yeah, go ahead and fuck up that Matilda. You get behind the wall over here so that you don't have to get shot at by the Matilda. Then boom boom boom. Objective complete. Oh, okay. Oh boy, I was not expecting this.
Commandant, we have encountered a new British heavy tank. Our guns are completely ineffective against its front armor. Requesting air support.
Requesting air support? Really now?
Unfortunately, the Stukas are too far away to provide support. You have to find a way to deal with it yourselves.
Panzerbrecher einsatzbereit. Ziel unter Beschuss nehmen. Bereit für die Schlacht.
Okay. Should have probably brought in the tanks a little bit earlier. I was not expecting the Frenchies to be up on the whole business so quickly. Come on, AT rifle infantry, do your job. It looks like the Hotchkisses really can't deal with my glorious mortars.
Bereit für die Schlacht.
Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Na los! Ja, Kommandant? In Bewegung, Kommandant!
Okay, I did lose some people, but not really all that many. I remember where that Matilda is. It's up there.
Befehle. Panzerbrecher einsatzbereit.
Bereit zum Angriff.
Easy peasy.
Befehle. Panzerbrecher in Bewegung.
Attack!
Auf dem Weg.
Oh no, it's so hard to deal with the Matilda. Krauts go home. Oh boy, hold on.
Bereit für die Schlacht. Jawohl.
Oh no, it's impossible to deal with the Matilda. It's so overpowered.
Befehle, Kommandant? Ja, Kommandant? Auf dem Weg! Bestätigt!
Fucking noob-ass Germans should have just
Jawohl!
brought up the mortars. Oh no, the Matilda! We can't penetrate its frontal armor! What shall we ever do?
Impressive!
Impressive!
Have your
Yeah!
men the area over the railway
Of
line.
course!
Might be more British forces nearby. Jawohl.
It is very impressive what you just did, Commander.
Bereit für die Schlacht.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Bewegung soll. Jawohl. Bestätigt.
Okay, is there anything over here? Well, there's civilian cars, we could steal those.
Bereit für die
Because we have this German army.
Panzerbrecher meldet
I'm gonna
sich zum
steal the German, or the French stuff.
Panzerbrecher
Because it
in
belongs to
Bewegung.
the fatherland.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Sanitäter unterwegs.
Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst.
Okay, now,
Bin da, wo
all
man
you
braucht.
Nazis come up here and do your own thing.
Bestätigt.
Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
This Nazi with the MG42 gets in the building.
MG-Schütze meldet sich zum Dienst. Ja, Kommandant. Bewegung. Jawohl.
Just gonna scout ahead to see whatever's happening
Teilung. Panzerbrecher
in this
meldet sich
area.
zum Dienst. Panzerbrecher in Bewegung. Befehle. Zu Befehl.
Okay, looks like... Okay, so we need to advance over the railway lines. Well, it's probably going to be harder to do if we're going to be going anywhere here. We're just going to be doing this. Oh nein! French, we are taking you from the behind. It's Imperial Dane. Oh nein! It is Imperial Nazi! Oh my god. It actually kind of is, yeah, because he does the German voice all the time. Except he's not ironic. He actually likes it. He likes the National Socialism. Bewegung. Okay. Soldaten. Oh. Well, this could be a problem. Dug in Matilda 2 heavy tank. What? Oh, 9! We've encountered a great many. Oh. Well, wasn't expecting that. Oh yes, fall back to a more defensible position in the middle of a road. Literally in the middle of a road. I mean, this is exactly how things work in the military, right? So when you're ordered to fall back into a more defensive position, you put yourself into the most exposed position possible. In the middle of a crossroads that's been, of course, swept around, everything cleared so that you don't crash into a tree whenever you're driving around. Glorious. You can clearly see why this military conquered half of Europe. Well, we are now in the more defensible position. Oh yeah, right, because I didn't clear this when I was coming through, so now my allies are getting smashed as they're trying to like come in with the reinforcements. They're getting smashed. That's hilarious. Now,
More of these guns are arriving soon, but the rest of the army is too far behind. Prepare a defense line and don't let the Tommies break through. Understood. We'll do our best, Herr Commandant.
Herr Commandant. We'll do our best, Herr Commandant. So I'm guessing that they're going to be coming through from the road? And not from the flanks as it's supposed to happen? Oh, we haben einen Flak 88. Ja. The Flak 88 is the way to win the war. Because it can penetrate the frontal armor of the Matilda tank. Don't you know? Let's get these supply vehicles a little bit back. I am guessing that the main attack is going to be coming through the road because that's where they were earlier. And thank you whatever happened. Hold on. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, hey! Thank you very much, person. Who was person? Makarov. That's a coffee extra for tomorrow. An espresso, as you say. Well, as we are supposed to say on your type of naming convention for coffee. Yeah, JRDN, I know. I'm fucking playing the Nazis. Fucking JRDN, dude. Why can't you be more useful like Makarov? Look at this is your fault, Makarov. JRDN. This is your fault, okay? You're getting fucking. Okay. Where are the British even coming from? Okay. So he can hear the British tanks are on the move.
Befehle auf Panzerjagd. Panzerbrecher in Bewegung. Koordinaten, Kommandant? Ja, Kommandant.
Tee. You're just a little fucking girl, are you, Makarov? Secretly, you're just an anime girl.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Befehle, Kommandant? Verstanden.
Let's get everybody off the transports.
Bewegung. Ja, Kommandant? Jawohl. Befehle?
You see, usually whenever you defend in this game, you have like conveniently placed trenches that you can take over and use.
Feindliche Einheiten
But this time, oh, it's a feindliche Einheiten. Okay, so they are coming in from the west.
Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst.
Jawohl, Fahrzeug funktionstüchtig. Bestätigt.
Artillerie einsatzbereit.
Molten slaves. Yes, you are the slaves of the Italians.
Jawohl. Jawohl.
I like that talk.
Artillerie einsatzbereit.
Ah, look! Ich habe einen Flak 88 gun! You are fucked, British! Perfidious Albion.
Bereit zum Angriff. Bewegung.
Ich bin getroffen.
Yeah, whatever.
Bewegung.
Get healed up.
Zu Befehl.
Suck it up.
Bewegung, Kommandant. Jawohl.
Ja, Kommandant. Verstanden.
Artillerie.
Okay, looks like all my Flak 88s are secured. Now, I'm gonna keep these vehicles in reserve, mostly because if the British decide to get smart and use artillery, they could destroy my Nazi Flak 88s.
Ja, Kommandant.
So I would want to keep that as impossible for them as possible.
Koordinaten.
So I do have my field howitzers in the rear,
Einsatzbereit.
doing their own thing.
Ist jemand verletzt? Bewegung, Soldaten. Befehle, Kommandant. Bestätigt.
Zu Befehl.
The NTR cast.
Jawohl. Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst.
I do not know what that is.
In Bewegung, kommt bereit für die Schlacht. Zu Befehl. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. In Bewegung, Kommandant.
Transporter meldet sich
Of course JRDN is very, very interested about weeb things. Fucking JRDN.
Zu Befehl. Bereit für die Schlacht. Beeilung, einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
It's nothing less than what I expected out of JRDN.
Soldaten, wie lauten die Koordinaten?
Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst. Jawohl.
Okay.
Wie lauten die Koordinaten?
Wir haben die Nazi-Artillerie.
Infanterie einsatzbereit.
Du bist
Infanterie einsatzbereit.
schlechtisch britisch. Ah! Okay. Almost got my entire computer killed.
Infanterie in Bewegung. Infanterie meldet sich zum Dienst. Na los.
If it would have been killed, it would have been fine. It would have been a sacrifice for the fatherland.
Befehle. Ja, Kommandant. Sanitäter unterwegs. Kanonen einsatzbereit. Befehle, Kommandant.
Ja! Kill them all! Kill the British!
Bereit zum Angriff. Ja, Kommandant.
Of course, Commandant. Dude, you're half Sicilian, half Arabic. You have more of that than British. I mean, I know you were British territory for a long, long time, but you didn't learn nothing from the Brits. I mean, if you did, clearly, you wouldn't be in the shit tier of countries.
Infanterie einsatzbereit.
Or, well, I mean, okay, Britain is in the shit tier of countries, but that's because they decided to fuck themselves.
Befehl.
Oh,
Befehle,
run.
Kommandant. Befehle?
Nitorare, the Jap term for cuckolding as a fetish.
Kanonen einsatzbereit. In Bewegung.
Zu Befehl.
Why do you have to bring these things up?
Meldet sich zum Dienst.
Okay, sure, the term for cuckolding in Japanese. It's not something I was thinking of hearing tonight.
Transporter meldet sich zum Dienst.
Befehle, Kommandant.
You were studying X while I was Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to explain that sentence. One guy unironically made the while you were studying X, I was studying the blade. Like, what? Is he supposed to be a samurai? He was studying, like, the sword?
Erwarte Befehle.
Einsatzbereit. Jawohl.
And he was doing fucking kenjutsu?
Auf Panzerjagd. Panzerbrecher in Bewegung. Panzerbrecher meldet sich zum Dienst.
Befehle, Kommandant. Transporter einsatzbereit.
Yeah, these British are, like, fucking fearless. Like, look at how they're coming in. They're just like, "Rawr,
Kommandant. Wir sind einsatzbereit.
we are Britain."
Ja, Panzerbrecher.
It seems they don't believe their heaviest tanks can be defeated. They just
Yeah, of course. Even the game thinks the same way as Pablo. Dude, fucking Pablo is a wizard. He just knows everything.
Bewegung,
Fucking Makarov needs to bring up some things sometimes. Get out of there. Engine damaged. We have engine damage. Man. Yeah, we did need those extra flak 88s just now. Look at them. Like, they're just coming in with a bunch of fucking Matildas. Oh, more reinforcements. Even better, comrade. Or, not comrade. Kameraden. We have one of the best economies in the EU. We got to Italy to get shit from the Gru and Turin because you Italians lost 50% off. What you just said makes absolutely no fucking sense. I've never seen a Maltese person in Italy. There's probably a reason for that. I wonder why I've never seen Maltese in Europe. You don't even, like, agree to the Schengen when it doesn't suit you. The Maltese are traitors to the motherland. The entire population of the island of Malta will be shipped to the labor camps. Yeah, I'm just getting like a bunch of fucking flags. The game does not want me to lose this mission, I don't think. Look at this Naziness. Yeah, the entire army of Germany now has flags. Oh, they left behind a Matilda. Cool. We even have like random ass 105mm Howies in the rear. Oh wow, the grass is destructible. There was grass here before. Cool. Oh no, they have Matilda ones too. It's like the little retarded cart with only a machine gun. That's the Matilda one. Zaniteta, get there. Okay, let's see what can we do with these guys. Oh my god, are you really gonna link the NTR cast? Yeah, of course! It's a chat. Why would it let you post links? It's a YouTube chat. Pretty sure the only reason you go to Sicily is because it's better than your stupid retarded home country that nobody cares about. Volltreffer. Target destroyed. Yeah, just put like something that makes it so it doesn't, you know, quote unquote discover the link. Like just push the modified link. Oh my god, I'm really gonna have somebody post a weeb link in my stream's chat. Oh no! Oh no 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 no! Fucking run away! Yeah. Yeah, well, now you are, so fuck you. Okay, I need to resupply my howitzers, it seems. How are my flax on ammo? Pretty good. I don't have so much hate to Malta, actually. It's just friendliness for neighbors.
The British are very persistent. I'll give them that.
The British are very persistent. I'll give them that. You are a British. Your accent marks you for a Brit.
Germany needs great soldiers like you.
Yeah. Look at that, fucking 5 stars. Oh my god, I got a free star. Look at that. Wow, this was so hard. Lost 40 infantry, killed 46 tanks. This was so hard, man. Cucked by YouTube.
Wednesday, May 22nd, 1940. Although the French are our arch enemy, I cannot help but admire the beauty of this country. And
Rapist! What the fuck?
Though was the French army. For an army lauded as the greatest in the world, it was easily outmaneuvered by our fast tank attacks. When we arrived on the fields near Arras, we had been plowing through the French countryside for over a week, French and British forces retreating left and right. In Arras, though, they put up a fight. These new British tanks really packed a punch. But my men found their own way to deal with them. British steel is no match against German tactics.
German tactics.
Von Bock's tactics gave us the edge to counter the British tank attacks with some unconventional means.
Unconventional memes? Yes, of course.
When Rommel suggested using the 88s against the incoming tanks.
I've never been in Turin,
Powerful
so...
shells of the AA guns just burst through their armor and really enabled us to hold the line. However, the Oberkommando seems to be afraid that our ranks will be vulnerable to pincer attacks if we push towards the English Channel at this pace.
Well, yes, okay, so this entire little mission was retarded because hashtag in real life fucking Nazi-ass realistic talk. In real life, the British were the one who were attacking into the road, but from the outside, right? Because they wanted to do a counterattack, the British on one side and the French on the other. But the French had some like weird communication problems, so they didn't actually go in. The British attacked from one side of the road, and the Nazis had to use the Flak 88s to get them off their backs. But like it was a randomly disorganized attack, and Krapstil und Porsche engines, who can defeat us? It was a randomly disorganized attack, and it almost like broke an entire Panzer division. You know, the 7th Panzer Division, the Ghost Division, fucking Nazi-ass Rommel. And yeah, Operation Barbarossa is gonna be the next mission. It's gonna be, I think, tomorrow? I don't know. Something like it. What is the challenge for the Battle of France? I can do the challenge too. Elite Army! Complete the mission with the most vehicles being upgraded. With most enemy vehicles upgraded to elite. Oh, okay. Kruppstil. Oh my god. Is there any expression I dislike more than Kruppstil? I don't know. Yeah. Fucking Operation Barbarossa, storming the Soviets. Whatever. Tomorrow. Yeah, they used the fact that they didn't have anything else that penetrated the Matildas. Because, oh my god, it's like 60 millimeters of frontal armor. And their Panzer Frees with 37 millimeter AT guns couldn't penetrate it. The 75 millimeter short barrel Panzer IV couldn't penetrate it. And they were like, yes, they did have 88 flaks. They were a 1936 weapon that was supposed to shoot at big enemy bombers. And yeah, they also had them in Spain, but they, like early on, of course, they weren't used as a anti-tank unit. And then only later they developed like 80 shells for it, because it was like an unconventional little tactic, because it was supposed to be AA. So it had the high explosive shells that were like the fuse was programmed to detonate at one altitude or another. So like they saw where the bomber was flying. Technically, they used a rangefinder to find whatever altitude it was flying at, and then they just set the shell to explode at that altitude and hoped that it would kill it. I think the statistics was like you had to fire like 40 shells to actually hit something like it with the method. But then they eventually turned it into an AT gun when they had need of it. And then later on, of course, they used it against the Soviets in the East. Although there's, of course, like the funny incident with the KV-2, which I'm gonna link to you. Or there was like a KV-2 in a crossroads, and they just like tried for 2 days to destroy it, and they couldn't. And eventually they had to like sneak up on it and throw a grenade inside. And it halted an entire division for like 2 days because they just couldn't destroy it. Strong KV2, man. Strong KV2. Yeah, against T-26 they just like boom. But the T-26 had like 20 millimeters of armor. It was tank from 1926 that they just like produced 20,000 of them. And it was also meant as a infantry support tank, so it didn't really have a good gun. Because the Soviets were like, okay, so we need like an infantry support tank, just like the British and French and the Germans. But like the Germans and unlike the British, they're like, we need a tank that can also like be independent. So that's where the BT-7 comes from. They got either behind them or at close range. Oh yeah, like with the B1, there's a funny incident, like the Battle of Stone, I think it's called. Let me try to see if I can find it. Battle of Stone, something like it was something like some French village, and there was like a B1 tank there. Yeah, this one, Stone. I wonder if I can post it. I can post links because I'm just so cool. Yeah, whatever. I can do it. Like basically, what happened was this like 1v1 got into this village where the Germans were coming in, and eventually like killed like 14 or 15 German tanks because they just couldn't deal with it. Broke the Germans, pushed them out of the village, and then eventually he was destroyed because some AT guns got into the side and destroyed it. But yeah, they just used like AT guns, they got to the sides of enemy vehicles, or they just like completely bypassed the things entirely and went ahead, because the allied armies just didn't. History visualized video about host-run German anti-armor tactics in 41. It's very good. Wait, history visualized? Do you mean like military history visualized? The German guy who does videos? Yeah, the guy's pretty good. I like him. Oh yeah, KVs were extremely fucking impenetrable. Problem is, tanks at that time broke down extremely often. So what ended up happening was that, like, if the Germans could just get behind the Allies and continue moving and just continue trudging on, because that's what their army was made to do. Like, all the Panzer Division would just like charge through, bypass strong points, leave that to the infantry, and then just move ahead, right? And they didn't need to deal with the KB1s and the all the Allied armor. They just left them there, and they moved across. Also because the Allies didn't have tank divisions early on. Well, not the Soviets, but the British didn't really have tank divisions. They had the Royal Tank Regiment, which was a regiment, but no Royal Tank divisions. So they couldn't really have a formation that was as big as the German ones to fight it head on. The French did, but the French armored divisions were... let me see if I can... I'm just going to switch from like the game stream to just screen. Like if we're going to go on the maps. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. If I go to Belgium, like what the French thought that the Germans were going to do was come in through all this white is plains, right? And this green is forests. This is the Ardennes. So the French thought that the Germans were going to come in through here, just like in World War I, and they were going to fight here. So that's where they sent all their armor divisions. They call them light mechanized divisions or cavalry divisions usually, but they were like fully mechanized. And what the Germans did was they put all their major tank stuff down here, near Luxembourg and in the Ardennes. So they came through, and Sedan is somewhere. Where's the Meuse? The Meuse. Doesn't show. Fuck. Well, let's just It's Sedan. Okay, so this is Sedan. So they came through the Ardennes. They didn't think they could come through because it's like, oh, blah, 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 hard terrain or whatever. And the thing isn't that, like, they thought that, oh my god, that cannot be crossed, and so they didn't put defenses there like they usually say, like, haha, the French were retarded and they got fooled like this. No, like, they did put defenses over here. It was just, like, secondary rate troops, but they just really thought that the Germans were going to come in through here with their main attack. So when they did end up busting through the forest over here, got to Sedan, and got across the Meuse, got the tanks across, and then at that point they just kind of charged through all the way to the channel. This is Arras up here, which was the second mission. And only at this point, when they were already almost to the British Channel, only at that point the Allies were able to counterattack, because their high command and their communications were so inferior compared to the German ones that the Germans were able to advance all this like distance of like 150 kilometers or something without the Allies being able to organize a counterattack, because one, they didn't have the big tank formations that the Germans did. So like they just didn't have the organizational capabilities like pre-war to make something up on the fly. And then they weren't as used to the Germans of like acting without orders. It's because the Germans essentially what they did was called Auftragstactic, also known as like objective or mission tactics. So they told their commanders like, oh, you got to get to here and you got to take this position and kill the enemy units here. And then they left the in-between part up to the commander. So they were used to being flexible. But the French and the British, learning from the First World War, were like, well, there's going to be enemy fortified positions, so if I just let my commander do this thing instead of like planning it out meticulously, this is not going to go well. So we're going to have like pretty meticulous planning of every type of maneuver. We're going to do blah, 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 blah. So, and what ended up happening was that the Germans caught them off guard, and in the essentially chaotic environment, they thrived and managed to win. Yeah, it was a key part. Also, like, what they usually say is like, oh, the British and the French didn't realize the, extensive potential of the new weapons or something. But no, they actually had more tanks, more airplanes, much better artillery. They had absolutely better artillery, especially the French. In fact, there was like a random artillery, the artillery bunkers in that mission that we fought in the first mission, the Battle of Sedan. There were like a couple of these artillery bunkers back at Sedan, in the rear, somewhere in the hills, like over here, and they almost stopped the crossings by themselves because they were just that good. This was like the uppermost part of the extended Maginot Line. Like the Maginot Line normally was literally just this, the border between France and Germany, but they made an extended portion when war broke out that covered this little part, and Sedan was like the uppermost portion of that. So the fortifications up here were pretty like weak for French standards. And the reason they couldn't fortify Belgium earlier on was because of political considerations. Because, of course, if you fortify between France and Belgium, you're essentially telling Belgium, hey, look, if the Germans come in, we're just going to let you die and sit behind our fortifications. Plus, Belgium declared neutrality to try to avoid getting involved in the war. This was not at the start of the war, but before the war even started. Like, Belgium essentially wasn't officially part of the Allies until the Germans invaded in May 1940. So while it was obvious that there was going to be fighting in Belgium to the French, like what everybody says, they just sat behind the Maginot Line and then the Germans came around, No, they like knew that they were going to come around, but they couldn't do anything about it, partially because it would seriously fuck up the Belgian political situation if they tried to like force Belgium into staying with them from the start. Because if Belgium declares neutrality and you're the French, you just kind of have to kind of let them do that so that you're not the aggressor. And you're kind of on the back foot. You don't have the initiative. You have to wait for the Germans to come in. Then when the Germans came in, again, there was, of course, the plan was for the Allies to come up with the British Expeditionary Force over here and the French main mechanized forces, just come through, come and fight in this position about with the main plains in Northern Europe. But then the Germans just kind of counter-gambled and fucked them over really, really easily. This is just like the very, very basic stuff. They just had very bad communications. For example, like if I recall correctly, an anecdote that I read was that like the French only realized that the Germans had broken through at Sedan, and the reason that breaking through at Sedan was very important was because to get to this side into France from the Ardennes, you have to cross this river, the Meuse. And the best crossing was here at Sedan because it's a town, there were bridges, and it was also connected to like one of the main roads that the Germans had used to get through the Ardennes. So to bring in supplies, they just had to break through here. If they didn't break through here and the French reinforced, they could just sit behind the river and let the Germans be like, oh well, guess we're just stuck here. And also because Hitler was like, haha, we must take Sedan because in 1870, the major victory of the Franco-Prussian War was at Sedan. So it's like, for Hitler, who was always about like symbolic and political meaning behind military actions, that was pretty appealing to him. Yeah, the French even pushed a bit into Germany, but then they were like, whatever, screw it. The French gave a shit about Belgium because Belgium had a pretty substantial army. And also pretty good like defensive positions with a bunch of rivers. For example, there's the Scheldt up here, then there's the Meuse down here, and in general, in this terrain with the plains was where they had fought in World War I and where they were prepared to fight again in World War II. They were prepared to fight in this kind of terrain and use their superiority when it came to artillery and aircraft to just smash the Germans really quickly. Well, maybe not really quickly, but actually in attrition. Yeah, the Luftwaffe is very glorified, but sometimes, I did see it, and it's actually really good because he links in the description, he links a very good book. It's called like the Blitzkrieg Legend. You should really read it. It's like, it can be pretty like quote unquote boring because it's like, it's written by a historian, so it's very very somber in style in a way, but it explains essentially how the German high command was thinking throughout the campaigns in Poland and in France. And it goes a little bit into the campaign in the Soviet Union as well. And then it explains also how the French and British were thinking at the same time. So how they were reacting to each other, what was happening on the front. And it also explains a lot of things about German tactics during World War II. And it's where that video comes from, pretty much entirely. Like, you could say that that video is an introduction to the book in a way. It can be a pretty good introduction. And yes, so the Luftwaffe was focused on like not just, well, like, see, the tank destruction thing is exaggerated, absolutely, but what isn't really talked about is how, like, if you have a plane flying over and you're like marching across a road, or you're driving across the road if you're in a tank, and here comes the enemy close air support and bombs the fuck out of you, you're going to be stopped. Like, even if you don't really take that many casualties, you're going to be stopped to like see what's happened, who's wounded, if you're going to have to repair some vehicles, leave them behind, whatever. And then what happens after that is, if it happens like often enough, then the troops will stop moving by daytime, like completely, and start moving at nighttime. Like, of course, the Luftwaffe wasn't big enough to do this to the Allies, and it wasn't big enough to do this to the Soviets mostly, although the Soviets still took very much care to avoid getting bombed as they moved. What that really showed was in the Battle of Normandy, where the well, the Germans really just couldn't move tanks during the daytime on roads at all. They just couldn't, because there were just too many Allied air forces. And of course, aircraft are also useful to destroy like supply trucks, trains, roads, bridges. That's what they're mostly used for, like interdiction, it's called. Essentially destroying not the actual units themselves, but their capability of moving around and fighting. And also what the Germans did with their air force was that they managed to concentrate their air force so much. For example, in Sedan, what they did was they concentrated like most of their airplanes that they had available into this one battle, and they used essentially the aircraft as mobile artillery, because they were trained really well with the tank forces. They had good radio communication with each other, and they could just like call down the airstrike, and it would come down about as quickly as normally an artillery strike would. And while that didn't do like a ton of straight up damage like artillery would, it was also very like damaging to morale, etc. And it prevented like the fact that they had just rushed through the Ardennes, prevented that fact from being a problem, because while they rushed through, they just couldn't like have the normal artillery, the towed guns, keep up, and they didn't have self-propelled artillery back at the time, so they like didn't have a lot of artillery normally to fight in like a river crossing. They needed a lot of artillery support, so they just used their aircraft. That's what the Germans did, and they did really well. Yeah, like, oh, we're just getting shot at, you know? Like, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, the damaging overall was just like, eh. It can, but it doesn't mean it will. I mean, like, technically also, like, a person with a grenade can take out a tank. Doesn't mean, like, most tanks were taken out by people with grenades or something. I mean, everybody had a grenade. Didn't mean that they actually used it. The 37mm cannons were overrated, to say the least. Yeah, well, no. They were overrated. Like, I'm not entirely sure on the numbers, but 100% some of the kill claims of, like, I think the guy's name was Rudel. He was, like, the famous Stuka ace or whatever that killed, like, 190 Russian tanks or something. That was, like, kind of exaggerated, because what the Germans did was, for propaganda purposes, they merged the kill numbers of units with the ace. So what they did was that, like, say if the guy's unit goes in and destroys, or thinks rather that it destroyed 10 tanks, they're just like, oh yeah, the ace killed 10 tanks. So he's like, oh, I'm so good. And it was propaganda, because like, oh, he's an Aryan warrior or whatever. And it was also exaggerated because, like, let me see if I can, like, find something like it. Like gun cam footage, World War II or something. German gun cam footage. Oh my god. I mean, this is of course bad quality, but like, do you see what is happening over here? Yeah, you saw an explosion. Does that mean that the enemy tank was destroyed? Like, oh look, explosion. Do you think that's a target destroyed or not? Because there's many things that can happen if you're shooting over there. And like, oh look, things exploded. Must have been a kill, is what the pilot thinks. But maybe it was just damage to whatever the pilot was shooting at, and that can be repaired in like half a day. And so, do you count that as a kill or no? Well, clearly, if you're the pilot, you come back to base and you're like, oh, I destroyed a tank. And then what ends up happening is that, like, 2 days later, that tank is already fighting your friends again. That's why, like, the kill claim thing is like, iffy. Never really believed that. Yeah, in general, that mostly is the reason why you see like, oh, the Germans killed like 1 million Russian tanks and lost 10. Because also the Germans for themselves were like, well, if this tank is recoverable, that's not a loss. So if you go into the archive into like an engagement and you see, oh, we lost 25 tanks. Okay, well, the Germans think they lost 25 tanks. Maybe you go to the Soviets and the Soviets say, oh, the Germans lost 35 and we captured 10 of those. And that's where that 10 difference comes from. Of course, it's never like that clear cut. But the Soviets themselves are like, oh, that tank cannot fight, even if it just had like a track thrown. Well, that's a tank lost. So they counted that as a tank lost. So if in that engagement they lost, instead of 25 tanks, like the Germans, they lost 45, well, maybe 25 of those were just damaged and then they're repaired. So what ends up happening is that the Germans, well, technically it looks like the Germans lost 25 and the Russians 45. In reality, the Germans lost 35 and the Soviets only lost 20. That's pretty much the like simple explanation. But also they just use like good old-fashioned explosive charges. I mean, like whatever. They shoot an Opel truck, another a Tiger kill. Yeah. Also because like, I mean, we're all sitting fucking here with the internet and we know what those things look like, you know? Like we know what a tiger looks like, we know what everything looks like because we can just see the picture, right? But like if you're in like a fucking battlefield situation, you know, and you've never seen, well, close up, you've never seen a tiger before, you just see a giant fucking Nazi box coming in like a kilometer away. You shoot it, it blows up, and you think, oh, I killed a tiger. Maybe it was just a P4 or something, or a truck. You know, you just see the Nazi box, and you're like, oh, it must be a tiger. Like whatever. JRDN, they did, yeah. It's called RPG. I mean, any disposable rocket, like even the law, the American law, is just like the same thing. And I think the Swedish have some like the Carl Gustav or something. You don't realize how light some of, like the modern Panzerschreck by comparison would be the ATGM. Like something like the Milan 2 or the Karnet for the Russians, or the TOW for the Americans. Although I guess no, that's actually more like the equivalent of the anti-tank gun, because it's like pretty hard to set up. No, but more like something like a Javelin would be the equivalent of the Panzerschreck. Still handheld AT, but it's pretty damn heavy. It's a bit like the Panzerschreck. But like the law, how much does a law weight? Law AT launcher weight. M72 law. Like how big is this thing? Weight 2.5 kilograms. This thing is fucking light as fuck. Like you can just grab this thing and shoot it. Like whatever. Let's see. Can I see like the similar weapons? Yeah, okay. So what I'm looking for is like, yeah, for example, there's also the Panzerfaust III, which 1985, put into service in 1992. Weight is, well, oh wow, Panzerfaust III is actually very, very heavy, 13 kilograms. So this thing is pretty damn heavy. Well, maybe not pretty damn heavy, but it's pretty heavy. Like, it's not the lightest thing. Let's see. Matador. What the fuck is this? The Spanish one? No, it's a Israeli one. Okay. This one is 9 kilograms. Again, not the lightest thing, but you can carry it around pretty easily. It's not... Let's see the Panzerschreck. How heavy is this thing? Like, for example, the Panzerschreck, I think already... What? Yeah, 11 kilograms. This thing was already, like, heavy enough that, like, it was considered pretty damn encumbering to a random guy. They have a dart in through it. Yeah, I mean... Sticky grenades are awesome. Piats are like... whatever. I mean... like, how about we use a spring instead of rock? I'm sure it was, like... I'm sure it was less expensive with the spring launching system. I don't know. No, I never played Mudblood. Yeah, essentially what the Germans did was like, oh look, this thing has a rocket! We like rockets! And they like took it, they reverse engineered it. Because, I mean, it's literally, yeah, it's just a battery and a tube that you put a rocket into. And then that thing goes and kills whatever is in front of it. And then instead of like, I think the bazooka, I'm not sure, is the bazooka like 60 millimeter something? I don't remember the exact caliber of this thing. What's the bore size? Yeah, whatever. I know the super bazooka was 88 millimeter, but that was because it was like reverse engineered from the Panzerschreck. Yeah, okay, this one is an 89 millimeter warhead, and these ones are... I'm sure you've already typed it in the chat, you fucking Nazis. No, that's the penetration. Oh well, I'm sure some Nazi knows about it. Come on, put me the, like, 57 millimeter. Okay, so it was 57 millimeter, and the Germans, funnily enough, think that is not enough. Even though probably for the Germans it would have been if they, like, designed a decent enough rocket with good penetration capabilities. Like a shaped charge, like the Panzerfaust, goddammit, isn't 57 millimeter. I think it's like even less. No, wait, the Panzerfaust is 88 too. But who gives a shit? So, yeah, of course. But like the Super Bazooka is the one that's later, and then every other one before it is pretty similar. Yeah, the PTRS could penetrate the sides of the Panther. Without the armored skirts, it could. So what ends up happening is that the Germans, to fight weaker armored Allied tank... No, it wasn't Soviet propaganda. To fight weaker armored Allied tanks, put out a, like, bigger thing, but the Americans don't upgrade their own bazookas until the Korean War, essentially. And even in the Korean War, like, the Super Bazooka sometimes just didn't penetrate T-34-85s. What? Like, what? Hold on, like, could the PTRS penetrate the Panther? Oh. Let's see. Access history. Access history sometimes is pretty good. How effective was the PTRD versus German tanks? I was expecting on Fred. Scratch the paint. The PTRD could penetrate 35 to 40 millimeter. Yeah, and again, something that has to be remembered is that, like, penetrating doesn't mean it's going to blow up. You have to actually, like, hit something that's important. And these, like, little tiny ass AT rifles don't really have a very high caliber bullet. So even if you shoot at something and penetrate it, unless it actually hits something important inside, it's like worthless. What do you mean the bazooka was not designed for tank hunting? Well, yeah, of course, yeah, okay, of course it was a last ditch, but it was designed to kill tanks. I mean, like, that was the point. No, it was not made to stop AT rifles, but it ends up making the Panther also able to stop the fucking PTRS from the side. Because like the Panther side is like the worst possible armor they could have put on it. It's not even like very, very good. Yeah, just harass and disable. See, like the problem with that is, of course, that like, oh, range should be held to around 30 yards. Imagine like being a fucking normal infantry guy and having tanks overrun your position. Are you gonna fucking wait until they're at 30 yards? You're gonna probably try to fire earlier, and it's not gonna be enough. You see, that's like the disconnect between doctrine and actual fighting. Well, I'm gonna go now. You can like continue randomly typing shit in the chat. I don't care. I'm not gonna close down everything. You can still type in the chat. But yeah, I'm gonna go and get myself some sleep, probably. See y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for commenting and being retarded in the chat. See you tomorrow, I think. Bye, guys.